My name is Robyn Driedger-Klassen. I'm a soprano and a teacher. I do a lot of contemporary new music, and there are a lot more women writing in that, writing a lot of things for voice. I think that there's some really interesting poetry that goes along with that women have really latched onto, and there has been a lot of poetry and literature written for centuries by women, women who used pen names that were male, or they used their husband's name, or all sorts of things like that. So, and now we're starting to find these people come out of the woodwork. You find this fantastic poem, and you realize, oh, this was written by a woman, and somehow that is now really starting to shine, and we're starting to be able to have lots and lots of composers who can take that and put it on a new level. When I'm just in a lesson with a student, it's just about the voice, it's just about making your body work for you. The teacher is supposed to push your boundaries and make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you're not supposed to push someone so hard that they just give up. My role is to encourage and light a spark. I'm supposed to put ideas in their minds that maybe they haven't considered yet. And then I just sort of have to fan it and see if it goes anywhere. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it's not my job to push that. But when we do when we stage things, we have a course called vocal theater, which sort of lets us get away from opera and stage any old thing we want, really. Which also frees us up from the way opera's been for so long. So if we want to stage a cantata, great. If we want to stage an art song, fine, or a cabaret, whatever we want to do. And that's where we can have so much fun, because it's done so rarely that if we want to have a group of women singing Winterreise, we can do it. It doesn't matter. Schubert would have had no idea that how far everything has come in the world. I think he would be amazed and thrilled to see that the poetry he set to his music can be fascinating and relevant and meaningful. We're just a little school. We're not that significant. But we're trying to make really interesting, impactful experiences for our students, so that they can say, well, if Robyn says that I can sing this, then why can't I? But I have no problem with women singing those men's song cycles, but I sort of still have a problem with men singing my cycles. No, you have enough. Frauenliebe und Leben is for us. You don't get it. We have to fight pretty hard for every role we get, especially there's sopranos, then there's mezzos, there's a few less, and then there's contraltos where there's hardly any. Sort of seems like the lower the voice, the more opportunity there is for you. Not only are there so few roles for so many people, but then there's this sort of image of the soprano who's the diva, and she's a horrible person, and she, will fight for everything, and she will step on everyone to get to the top. And that is still often an image that people have of a soprano. And I don't know any sopranos that are actually like that. They're all pretty nice people, but there's this sort of backstabbing cat fight thing that people always think that we need to do in order to get any job that will pay us to just survive. And I really, really dislike that image. I think that more and more right now in classical music, women are binding together and are realizing that we have to support each other in this, you know, and then you try to create your own play, your own idea, your own creative idea that you can, a new project. And, you know, if you make it just for women, then the idea that it's all just for women becomes a big deal. Like, well, why can't we just have a bunch of girls get together and make something artistic, make something beautiful, make something meaningful? But somehow it always has to come back to being about the fact that it's just a group of women. Because now there's an orchestra in town that's just for women, which is fantastic. But that still has to be the platform that they advertise on and that they get, you know, media representation because they're all women. Why can't they just be an orchestra? Now I go back and you know, you watch YouTube videos of concerts and you think, oh man, they're all white men, every single one of them. Like there's so many other interesting voices that have something to say. There are obviously issues in the larger society, but within classical music, it's always, for so long, been male-dominated, and women have had very little say in what is performed and how it's performed. Most of the conductors I have worked with have been men. I think I've only worked with one female conductor. Directors, opera directors, probably two. It's just not done. And it hasn't been done for so long, and that's not to say that women haven't had something to say. They have. It's just really hard to get into that level, into that job. If you're a woman, people like to turn their nose up at you. You know, and like right now, one of my favorite musician conductors is Barbara Hannigan. And it's so, even I watch her conduct and I think, it's so unusual. She's got this long golden hair and everything, and it's so unusual to see that. And I keep having to even stop myself and say, well, why? Why is it even a problem? Why am I even thinking about that? So I'm really looking forward to the day when there are just conductors and just directors, and it's not a woman conductor. Why we always have to put that in front of the name, I don't know. I have two little boys, and they're too young yet to get it, really. But my older son, he's 6, and he just thinks it's so weird that people think that girls can't do things as good as boys. He just but he hasn't really even figured out the difference between men and women yet. He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, we're all here, and who cares if you want to play soccer or play the cello? It doesn't matter. And it's yeah, they're completely baffled when they hear things like this. And I think, well, good, let's just keep it that way. Like, I don't even want to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to put even a little grain into their minds that that's even an issue.